Let's take a look at these visuals. It's a video that shows the dead body of a scheduled caste man being lowered from a bridge to a cremation site on the riverbed underneath. This is coming from Tamil Nadu's Vellore district. It's gone viral. Many would wonder why. What is the need for this? Well, the locals say that's because there is no public road to the cremation site on the riverbed. The only option is to trespass into the private property owned by upper castes, and they have resorted to this to draw government's attention to give them access to the cremation site. Let's go across to Sam Daniel for more on this. Sam, what do the authorities have to say to this unique form of protest?
Sarah, authorities say they are working on this to find a permanent solution. They say a few days ago when this took place, when the cremation took place, the communities never approached the administration or nor did they approach the private property owners through which they have to go to reach the site. And now they say they will try to buy a piece of land owned by a private party there so that this scheduled caste communities would have access to the cremation site. The collector, although calls the cremation site itself as unauthorized on a riverbed. And there are conflicting versions coming, Sarah. The family says they never approached the upper caste people who own that particular property through which alone they'll be able to reach the cremation site, because they say 10 years ago the family had put up a fence to block people entering their area. But that particular owner's officials claim that they never objected to people entering their land. And even in this case, they say a group of people had used their path to reach the cremation site. And they say this particular group had deliberately adopted this particular fashion to lower the body to the riverbed to draw government attention to find a permanent solution. And they say there is no communal angle at all. Both communities live in peace. Interestingly, Sarah, the collector says this particular owners who own the particular property, they also belong to an SC community. That's something we find interesting and contradicting with what police and the other revenue officials in the district say, that they belong to an upper caste. And Tamil Nadu, over the last several years, have seen many such forms of discrimination. In Madurai, for instance, Dalits were not even allowed to contest elections because the dominant communities would not want to have an SC member as their leader. In some villages, SC communities were not allowed to wear footwear, and we've had communal clashes. But over the last 10, 20 years, things have largely changed. But this, if true, is certainly a thing of shame, which the collector says they're addressing to find a permanent solution. Lastly, it's perfectly within the rights of the owners of that particular property to raise a fence, to not allow funeral processions or people using their private land as a public road. And in that sense, the collector feels acquiring that piece of land by the government to provide an official path to the cremation site would be a permanent solution, which he says would do very soon.
But Sam, I have a quick question. Legally, can you have a separate cremation site based on caste? Is the government actually saying they're going to help buy a separate cremation site where only people of a certain caste can be buried?
That's not the case, Sarah, but there is an official cremation, a graveyard where communities can bury people. But in the case of unnatural death, they prefer to cremate the body, and for which, over the years, they've been using this particular piece of land. And there are many such, irrespective of the caste, there are many such issues where there is no proper approach road for these areas, and this comes under that category. And they may either acquire this piece of land to provide access, or the government, the collector says, may also look at an alternative site so that there could be an easy approach for that.